Hey y'all, it's Jordan. Tonight, what I want to go through is a full-blown tutorial of CoinTracker, a tool used to track your crypto gains and losses across different exchanges and different wallets, and just see what value I think you can get out of this. Give you just a peek into what the paid version looks like and how it will make your life easier, I think, once tax time comes here in the new year. We're sitting here in October right now, and I think a lot of people are trying to figure out if they're going to have to pay taxes on crypto. Slowly finding out that yes, you will have to pay taxes on your crypto if you sell it or trade it for another crypto or trade it back into US dollars. So I think this tool is going to be essential for 95% of people probably to be able to correctly report their crypto gains and losses, pay the taxes, and stay out of trouble with the IRS. Let's get started. I just made an account using a Google account. And then the first thing I did was come in here and just added my wallets. And I'll just show you what the wallet, screen kind of looks like. You literally just come in here and you would just start typing in whatever wallet you use. If you use a wallet or if you have everything on some exchange like Binance or Gemini or Coinbase, you would just start typing in. And then over here, like you can see, if I click on one, they give you instructions on how to actually set up the account depending on what you've got. So same thing with here. You would just go in and just follow these instructions. So once you set up all your wallets, you would be able to come over here and you'll see all of your stuff that you've hooked up. You'll see it over here. So exchanges and then any wallets, you can have that down here as well. And then lastly down here is just if you had to import any wallets, and that's just if you search for one that you use and it doesn't pop up, there's instructions. I'll show you this really fast. There's instructions on how to add those transactions into CoinTracker using a spreadsheet, a CSV file. So you'd pretty much just go to add wallet, this. So if you started typing one that didn't show up, then you would just do import from CSV. You would just download the sample right here, put in the dates, receive quantity, fill out all this stuff, and you would get that from whatever exchange that you're buying on or selling on, and just download and then convert it over to this format. And then you would drop it in right here. You could name it whatever you want it to be. Just import, and then it's all those transactions will eventually show in. Once they upload, they'll show in the transactions right here, and everything will still feed into your portfolio and all that. So that is the wallet and the CSV. And I would say if you are only buying in a certain exchange and then maybe you're sending that crypto to another wallet or a different exchange, I wouldn't mess around with the CSV import. You really only need to import transactions that are taxable for this tool. And so if you're only, like in my case, I buy on a certain exchange, I send it all over to a wallet, and those sends from exchange to wallet are not taxable. Only mess around with it if you really need to. If you've got taxable transactions that are occurring in a wallet that is not supported by CoinTracker. Let's just come over to the dashboard. I think that one of the coolest things here is you scroll down to your assets and it literally just shows you all your different assets consolidated into one place. It shows you the current price right now. It shows your holdings, and then it shows your all-time unrealized return. So your gain or your loss right here. This is super unique because, at least for me, I know some people hold everything and do everything on one place. For me though, I do things on multiple places, as you can see with the wallets that I had. So being able to have this view, this summary of what all is being held and the different gains across different platforms is super helpful for me just to understand where I'm at. And then right here, you've got just a little summary real quick of tax year and gains and also income. So if you have a loss, like you can see right here, this is a loss for 2018. It's just going to be a negative number instead of a positive number. Moving right along, we'll just kind of move left to right. So we've already dealt with some of the wallet stuff, but if you go to wallets and then transactions, you're going to be able to see all the transactions that you've had, and you can sort this by tax year, You can sort it by different wallet, exchange. The main thing that I've been using this for is to filter it by the different transaction types. If I traded one coin for another, which should show up right here. Yep. So I traded some Ethereum for some Shiba Inu. This is showing that transaction, the transfer from this coin to this coin. All the transactions will look like this. It will have the date, the time, what kind of transaction it is. This is what you gave up. This is what you got. And the cost basis, how they're calculating this is roughly this cost basis minus this cost basis. This is what you got. This is what you gave up. And that's your gain, or it could be a loss. But then you can go in here and you can do bought. So anything that you bought, you'd be able to see that. And then you could do sold and you could see by year. So this is only showing stuff in 2018 because I haven't actually sold anything in 2021 yet. So that's the transactions, and you're able to download a CSV of this entire thing as well, which is super helpful. This was actually available to me even in the free version. The only problem is that it's just not as clear cut. You're going to have to do some calculations on your own. And I would say that the product is not overly priced for the value it's bringing, especially if you've got tons of transactions. You can try to mess with this if you've got just a few transactions, but if you got a ton of transactions, you're going to want to pay for the product and just get them to calculate all this stuff for you. And that ensures that you're getting it all done correctly. So this is more of just, you can do pricing here, you can see performance, but this is more just like your day-to-day looking over. And I think this is on a separate subscription that I'm not on currently. So, but this is more, I guess it gives you a little bit of information, and then you can see down here a subscription is required to gain this access. So this is for really just analyzing your crypto gains and losses over time. It's not really for tax purposes necessarily. It's more just for you to be able to see, how am I doing with my crypto? And I think that there's a plan in here for like $15, $14 a month for you to get some of these essentials. And then if you want some more stuff, specifically the tax loss harvesting is the most value add thing I've seen that they do. And I haven't signed up for that quite yet, mostly because I don't have any losses to report right now. But this would be an interesting thing to look at. And you can get a 7-day free trial. You can see that there's different amounts of wallets that you can hook up and all that kind of stuff. So that is more this crypto portfolio assistant plan, whereas we're more concerned in this video, at least, with just the tax side. So yeah, we'll spend most of the time that we have left over here in the tax center. I just want to give a deep dive of what we've got going on here. So as you can see, I am currently on this premium tax plan. This was about $180 and it gets me up to 1,000 transactions, which is plenty for me. And then starting up here, we've got gains and losses. So again, pluses are gains, minuses are losses. And really important to note, you've got short term and you've got long term. And if you've seen any of the other videos that we've done, you'll know that these long term gains, they have more favorable tax rates than short term. So if you can hold a coin for more than a year, that is good. I know that that's tough sometimes with volatility. You've got to make your money when the coin is doing well. So I completely understand that, but I like that this breaks this up and does crypto to crypto gains and then other capital gains. And then when you click into this, so this is capital gains from cryptocurrency sales and sends. This is referring to my sales back into fiat US dollar. Then you come down here and you've got if you had any income. So specifically, mining or staking, or if you made any interest. And then if you had any other transactions, like if you made any gifts, which we've talked about in some other videos, if you've done any futures trading, you would see that right here. And this is just going to be reported as taxable income. And again, the tax loss harvesting, that's what's going to be super interesting to see if you've got unrealized losses trying to create a plan. And it might be with a financial advisor, it might be with your CPA, just going through and saying, what losses could I take in the year to offset this gain? So I would also really consider that. And again, if you paid for that $99 a month piece, you would be able to see, they would give you recommendations here, but we would also be able to see, just based off of where you stand on certain coins, we'd be able to see if there was an opportunity to sell some of those, create losses to net with your gains and lower your tax bill. That's the whole point of tax loss harvesting. So then you've got your tax summary by exchange, by crypto wallets. And then if you had any imported wallets, that would show right here. And then right here, I want to show just this tax checklist because I think this is interesting. So right here, you can confirm some settings. Thing I want to point out right here is the cost basis method. So this is essentially how you're determining what your cost basis is, because there's a few different methods. First in, first out is like the first coins you bought, you sell those first when you make a sale. Last in, first out is you sell the last coins that you bought. And this is all just by dates. So it would automatically calculate, okay, the last Ethereum coin you bought was on this date because it's the closest to the date it is currently. That's the coin we would sell. So whatever you bought that coin for, that would be your cost basis, and that would be used to calculate your gain or loss. Now there's this third method that is the default in CoinTracker, and that's highest in, first out. What this means is whatever the most expensive coin that you purchase that you have to sell, that's the one that you would sell and use for cost basis tax purposes. So if you bought 3 coins, let's say you bought 3 Ethereum coins over the course of 2021. You bought one for 1,700, one for 2,000, and one for 3,500. And if you went to sell one, you would sell that $3,500 one. And what that is doing is it is minimizing your gain if you had a gain, right? And it's maximizing your loss, because that high cost basis, if you bought it at 35 and you sold it at 45, instead of selling the $1,700 one where you'd have this larger gain, you sell the $3,500 one and have a smaller gain. And same with the losses. If you had a cost basis of 35, but you had to sell it at 2,700, if you had to use that $1,700 coin as your cost basis, that actually would be a gain. But since you're using that $3,500 cost basis Ethereum coin, you're actually getting to report a loss on that. So highest in, first out, again, that is the default cost basis, and it is best for tax minimization when you're trying to sell crypto either into another coin or into fiat US dollar. Another thing I want to show you is back to the transactions. You can download a CSV of all the different transactions that you've had. I'll just show you this very quickly, and you'd be able to sort through what you did in the year and see your transfers, your sells, your trades, your buys, anything that you sent, and also anything that you received. So, and again, it's showing us that highest in, first out method was used. And just so you can see, this is what you get when you download that. So you'd be able to kind of sort through this if you're good with Excel and be able to see, I would focus mostly on this column to be able to sort through the different buys, the sells, the trades, and the transfer. Yeah, and another thing that this does is it really consolidates all of your transactions into one place once again. Going back to the dashboard where it consolidates all of your balances, your gains, all that stuff from multiple wallets and exchanges all into one place. It does the same thing with transactions, which might even be more helpful, because trying to figure out your gains and losses between different exchanges and wallets is just extremely difficult. And trying to figure out the cost basis, also extremely difficult. Add on that last layer of using different cost basis methods to figure that out, is you're just doing a lot of work. Whereas here you pay the money for this service and it does it all for you. So I really do think that this is going to be worth whatever you end up having to pay for it. Again, I would just go through your settings, make sure everything's good. Other than the cost basis, everything's going to be pretty normal there. Make sure that you've got all your exchanges added. Make sure you've got all your wallets added. And then you can come over here and review transactions. And if you hit that review button, it's the same as if you go to wallets and transactions. So be able to see that. Then, this is the final product. This is like the deliverable that you get when you're doing business with them. So you're going to be able to get this IRS form 8949, which is the official form reporting capital gains and losses to the IRS. So you would be able to, it says coming later this year, but you'd be able to download this as a PDF, it looks like, give this to your CPA, or if you file your own, you can do that. And then you can also have a condensed version that aggregates the gains by the different assets. So there's a few different forms that they're giving you. Even the 1040, if all you had was crypto, then you could use this. Schedule 1 is some additional income pieces where all this stuff eventually it feeds to Schedule 1 and then it feeds to the 1040. That's kind of outside the scope, but just so you understand. This is the main one, I would say. The IRS Form 8949 is going to be huge. And then there's even some different imports it looks like that you're going to be able to utilize if you do TurboTax Online, or if you even use TurboTax, the one that you download to your computer, and a few different ones down here as well. My understanding is that you'll be able to literally import the PDF that you need into your tax filing software if it shows up here, and then that would just be used to automatically calculate your gains and losses. So again, you would not even need to know anything about taxes or anything like that. It would just automatically happen. Lastly, you've got your transaction history CSV. We've already downloaded that one. That's the one that showed up. This one's pretty cool too. This is your capital gains CSV, and this is essentially just showing you what you're going to have to pay taxes on for the year. I'll download this real fast so you can see this. This is also really a value add that they're giving, so that, because you could go through the transaction history in theory and figure out all this stuff and your cost basis. You might get it right, you might not. But here they're just giving you a simple CSV file that's already done it for you. Specifically, this is the column that you are really worried about, right? That messing up, because if you mess this column up, if you accidentally do FIFO or first in, first out, or last in, first out, then you might be paying more than you need to. So this is the main value add, that they are doing the highest in, first out cost basis, making sure that that's correct. These proceeds, those are pretty easy. And then the short-term gains or long-term gains or losses also shows you that. So this is just a super helpful summary for you, especially if you've got tons of transactions. And then you can add a tax professional here. So if you've got a CPA or somebody who's doing your taxes, you can invite them to review your CoinTracker account and then download any reports that they need, which is, gotta say, this is super helpful. As a tax professional, this is just amazing that you can have access as an accountant or as a CPA to just go into your client's crypto gains and losses report, pull what you need out, and there's no confusion. And then you, as the client, you don't have to be like, what do you need again? And trying to figure all that out. That is really cool. And you can even find a tax professional, it looks like, if you need one. Lastly, what I want to show you is we've been doing everything on this tax center. I want to show you this tax preview page. This is pretty cool. It looks like it's in beta right now. Essentially what this is allowing you to do is do some tax planning on your own. So say you are considering selling a certain coin for a certain amount of money, and maybe you've got gains, maybe you've got losses, whatever. You can add manual transactions, then you can let your cost basis, let everything reload. And then what you can do is it'll show you what is going to be your gain or loss. So I wanted to take you through just a quick example of this so you can see. So we're going to pretend that I sold, let's just say I sold 0.5, then you put in what you sold. So let's say we sold Bitcoin and other transactions, and let's just say the fee was 0.01245 Bitcoin. That would be your fee. And then let's just assume Bitcoin is selling for 60,000. So you would get 30,000, you get US dollar, another wallet, and let's just say there's no fee on that. So then all you would do is you would just say add transaction. What this is going to do for us, it's adjusting everything based off of this new transaction, and then it's going to tell us. So we'll come back to that in just a moment, but I wanted to show you on the dashboard. So now you can see there's a much higher gain than there was. Your portfolio is much lower than it was. And if you come back over to the tax center, then you will also see, okay, now we've got other capital gains in this line, and that's that row because it was crypto to fiat, to US dollar, whereas this would be crypto to crypto. Okay. And then this shows this total. That would be my gain on my tax return. And then for you to figure out your tax is going to be based off of whatever your tax rate is. So if you come up here, if I bring in the calculator and I say, okay, this is our gain, and we drop that in, and then let's just say you're in, I don't know, let's just say you're in the 24% tax bracket. I would just assume that all those dollars, unless you're like on some kind of line between, you're straddling two different tax brackets, maybe you're straddling the 22 and the 24, then you'd have to figure it out specifically. But let's just assume that all these dollars are in the 24. That would mean your tax bill on this for federal purposes would be right over $2,000. And then you could also calculate this at your state tax rate, whatever it is, and see. And then you would add this number plus your state tax liability. That would give you what you need to expect to pay on a gain like this. So, and then you can make the decision, do I want to sell or do I want to not? And then once you're done, I would advise that you go back in here and delete that transaction so that since it didn't actually happen. But yeah, that is the summary on CoinTracker. I hope that helps. I hope that gives you just some more confidence going through setting all of this up with the wallets and navigating the dashboard, and then ultimately navigating the tax center and just feeling confident that you are putting it all in and then either putting that into TurboTax or sharing that with your tax professional to do your 2021 taxes. If you don't already have an account, you can sign up using our code that's in the description of the video, and you'll get 10% off of the price. So that is good. And then if you have any questions about this tool, if there's anything that you feel like I missed, please feel free to leave a comment and I will get back to that. I want to make sure that you feel super confident using this tool and that you also feel just comfortable with your 2021 crypto tax filings. You feel like you reported everything, you paid your taxes, and you're not going to have the IRS coming after you or anything like that. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. If you want to schedule a meeting, just reach out and we'll get that set up right away. I hope this was helpful. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you very soon.